Pittsburgh Sports Talk. I'm your host, Tank Tantlinger. How you feeling this morning, huh? That rarefied air up there in Denver. Well, you know what? 24-17, the Broncos weren't... Hey, Mike McMahon, the Broncos, they don't care about altitude at all.
No, they handle it pretty well. I think...
The horsies.
Yeah, I think the Steelers let that one slip through their hands, though.
Hey, that's Mike McMahon, former NFL quarter. You played for the Philadelphia Sea Chickens, right?
You have the Eagles and the Lions.
And the Detroit Kitty Cat. Hey, I'm busting on Mike a little bit. He played the NFL with the Eagles and the Detroit Lions. Let me ask you something. Did you ever, in your locker up in Detroit, did you find like an old whiskey bottle from Bobby Lane laying around any place?
No, there was no whiskey bottles, but, you know, remember my first rookie year, getting ready to go out before kickoff, and Mr. Ford, I walk in the bathroom, and he's in there smoking cigarettes. And
he was nervous.
In the players' locker room. So, you know, he was a little old school, and he kept it that way. So he kept it that way instead of Bobby Lane doing it.
There was a great book written years ago by the great defensive lineman for the Detroit Lions, Alex Karras. Remember Alex Karras? Nope. He was bad. He wrote a book called Mad Ducks and Bears and Lions. Mad Ducks, Bears, and Lions, and it chronicled his first several seasons with the Detroit Lions. And, of course, the famous Detroit Lions quarterback, Bobby Lane, took him out as a rookie. You know, well, I can't go out with you, sir. We got a curfew. We got to be in bed tonight at 9 o'clock. Bobby Lane, the grizzled quarterback veteran for the Detroit Lions, says, "Go get in my car. I'll be down." So anyway, Alex Karras goes on and writes in the book, it's one of the funniest things, is it's now like 5 in the morning. They got to be back to training camp up in Detroit for like 7 o'clock practice. Karras, who doesn't drink at all, Bobby Lane made him drink. He's passed out in the back seat. He says he looks over into the front seat. Bobby Lane has a 2x4 wedged between the pedal and the seat, and he's smoking a cigarette, and he's got a bottle of whiskey in his hand. True story, according to Alex Karras. Was that the kind of quarterback you were, Mike? Drink till 5 in the morning, go out to practice?
I can't say that.
You're not going to tell any stories.
No, that was... I like to think I was a little bit more smarter than that. And nowadays, you can't get away with that stuff. I mean,
not these days.
Yeah, I mean, especially not nowadays with the social media and everything. But we can get away a little bit more back then than they can now.
Yeah, well, TMZ Sports wasn't around in 1956.
No.
All right, dear Steeler fans, Steeler Nation, what happened in Denver? I mean, seriously, what happened in Denver? And we're going to talk about that in today's show. Pittsburgh Sports Talk. I'm your host, Randy the Tank Tantlinger. He is, well, the quarterback, Mike McMahon, Rutgers and North Allegheny superstar. Mikey, I tell you what, we're going to get to that, pass that ended the game. But before that, we got a lot to talk about. We got to talk about missed field goals by Boswell. We got to talk about, really, the Steelers' offense should have opened up against this Denver defense. Yeah,
I'm surprised they didn't run the ball a little bit more with, the Denver's run defense not quite being as well as their pass defense. But Pittsburgh, obviously, they felt that they could throw the ball. They threw the ball, called pass plays 67 times to 13 total runs.
Wait a minute, stop. How many pass plays?
Yeah, it was 67. You count the sacks, you count penalties, you count the time, 2 times Ben ran. If you add up the actually called pass plays, the ball would have been thrown 67 times, and total runs would have been 13 or 13.
See, I don't get that, and I don't know whether that's on Ben, if it's on Fitchner. You've got a quarterback who's hitting his stride right now in the season with James Conner. Right. And I'm not going to predicate it anymore by saying maybe the best offensive line in the league. To hell with it. This is the best offensive line in the league. That I don't understand. Why are they only running the ball 13 times?
Yeah, they actually opened it up a little bit more in the third quarter. They brought in a 21 personnel, 2 backs, a tight end, and they ran the ball, and they got some big-time yards, 3, 4, 5 runs in a row in the third quarter. But that was it, and until the last play of the game. as far as run game.
Well, Connor averaged 4.1, which is beautiful, baby. If you're getting that kind of production out of your running back, again, I don't see, but
they opened the game with 9 straight pass plays. They didn't even run the ball in the first series. If you go back to the first series, there's not one pass, there's not one run play. Now they ran an RPO, but they ran 2 or 3 RPOs, but all 3 of them Ben pulled. Whether that's what his read was telling him to do or not, but he pulls it, he throws it. So it's 9 straight pass plays. They're throwing the ball all the time.
Sorry to cut you off. Did you ever play in Denver? Does the ball go further because of the altitude? I mean, why would you throw the ball 67 times?
Well, you don't throw it because you can throw it further. I mean, obviously you throw it because you can see something with the defense. So obviously that's what Pittsburgh felt. But again, when you come in the way with the way they've been running it recently with James Conner and a little bit of the emergence of Jalen Samuels and with the offensive line being as good as they are, I thought the Steelers would have came out and made a
statement. Say as great as they are. Don't call this offensive line good. This is a great offensive line. How would you like David DeCastro knocking you on your keister, buddy?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, no, they're doing a really good job running the ball. And, they didn't run it as much as they wanted to against Jacksonville, so you thought they would come out and make a statement this game. But they came out and made the statement, we're going to throw it 9 straight times. Not until the second series, 6 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first quarter, did they have their first run. And they ran the ball. And then I think the second run was an RPO with Switzer, who's so James Conner has got.
Hold on a second about Switzer. I want to talk about Switzer too. There's so much to talk about this week. I love this guy. I mean, I hate to even compare him to the New England model with Hogan, Edelman, but I like what Switzer's bringing to this team. You got to go back to last season, 2017. Miserable kick return performances, both on punt, both on kickoffs. Switzer's brought in to help with that aspect of things. But the kid's a jitterbug. Mm-hmm. I like that elusive little, there's something about him. There's a kick to him. He's fast. Mike, do you know what he ran at the combine?
No, I do not.
4.1! 4.1! Pegasus doesn't run a 4.140.
Yes, but you have Antonio Brown, you have Juju Smith-Schuster, you have Vance McDonald, and
Mark my words, we're going to Super Bowl.
And you've got James Conner.
Mark my words, we're going to Super Bowl, baby.
Not so fast, but you got James Conner running the way he does. You have to be able to distribute the ball to all those guys, and you're not going to make a special play for Switzer here and there. I think he's more of like a Cole Beasley type where every once in a while he comes in and picks up a big first down for you. But you don't want him running the ball when you have James Conner and Jalen Samuels in the backfield. You've got 2 really good running backs. You don't need the little white guy that's not that. I mean, he's fast, yes, but he doesn't have the size that Samuels and Conner have.
James is a big kid.
And they can actually, break a few tackles. Yes, Switzer might be able to shake a few guys, but he's not going to break a tackle.
At this point, Mike, it is really a sin that this team that is so offensive talent laden put up only 17 points. When you take a step back for the Steelers, and it's been this way for the last several years, you've got a Hall of Fame quarterback who's playing as best as he's ever played. You have the best offensive line in the league, the emergence of the Van Animal in Vance McDonald. I mean, that guy was a bust last year. He comes on this year. He and Jesse James. Now all of a sudden you've got the 2-headed Hydra with Juju Smith, AB, and now you throw James Conner in the mix. Mm-hmm. I mean, arguably, other than the Saints, to me, this is the best on paper offense in the league. Mikey, I don't getting 17 points in Denver, especially against this defense.
Well, again, when you come out and you throw the ball as often as you do, you become a little bit more one-dimensional, and teams can actually, they start playing more coverage, and the D-line just starts pinning their ears back and going for that spot. Ben, yes, he's playing some of the best football he's played ever. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame. It is what it is. He's extremely talented, and one of the most underrated thing about him is his vision. But he's not as mobile. Yes, it's hard to bring him down, but he's not as mobile. So when you got the D linemen pinning their earbacks going to that spot, they know he's not going to be running too much. Now, he got out of the pocket, ran for 2 big plays, 2 first downs this game, but he's not running the way he used to. So therefore, you're making yourself one-dimensional when you throw the ball that often and you take the run game out. And also, a lot of times, if you notice, instead of you're not using play action, and they've got 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends with Gribble. You've got Roosevelt Nix, one of the few teams that still carries a fullback. Utilize him.
A Pro Bowl fullback, baby, on